Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope you're doing well. Aaron Chen here. Just chilling out in the home today. It's the weekend. Thought I'd shoot this quick little video for you. Wanted to talk about something really interesting. Actually, was I was just thinking about it, and I think that this is definitely something that will help you to really take steps forward in your business. And this is something that I've alluded to in the past. A lot of people it's really weird because I made a video about how, it's very, very important that you put a lot of time and, work hard and take action inside of your business. And look, if you don't have the money right now, you shouldn't really be in business, right? Because if you have no money to invest in your business, you're never going to move forward in your business. Does that make sense, right? And it's really interesting because the internet marketing industry, for some reason, it tends to attract people that have no money, right? Now, yes, you can put things on your credit card. Yes, you can borrow money. Yes, there are different ways that you can get additional money. But literally, if you're down to your last dollar and you can't even feed your family or you can't pay your rent, then maybe business isn't, it shouldn't be your priority, okay? And that's basically what I've said in some of my videos in the past. And it's really interesting because that's garnered some really interesting comments. I guess people are very passionate about this topic, and they think that, well, one guy in particular thought that I had something against people that are poor and people that, are, come from a background of poverty, right? When that's not my message at all, okay? So it's really interesting, and I wanted to make this video because that really struck a chord with me, right? And for those of you who know my story, you know that I don't think like that at all. The truth is that, well, there's a couple of things here, okay? First of all, if you have no money, you're on your last dime, then getting into a business is probably not the most responsible thing, okay? Yes, you can still try and do it, but trying to build a business with no funding at all, not even a little bit, is very, very difficult. I mean, how are you even going to keep the lights on? I mean, think about it that way, right? I mean, if you had no money, would you ever go and start a restaurant? Probably not, right? Because you couldn't pay the rent, you couldn't keep the lights on, you wouldn't be able to pay your staff, all that stuff. Now, when it comes to online business, it's exactly the same thing, okay? Even though everything's done online, you still have monthly overheads that you need to pay for every single month. So if you can't even afford to keep the lights on, right, how can you expect to keep your business running? It's going to be here today, it's going to be gone tomorrow, because you're going to have to shut it down, right? Which is why I say, again, it depends on your personal situation, but if you're on your last dime, don't get into business. You should be focusing on your career. Go get a job, okay? Be responsible. Be a responsible human being. Go get a job, work full-time, get income, or work part-time. It doesn't really matter. I don't really care, right? As long as you're generating income every single month to look after yourself. You got to take care of your basic needs, right? If you can't put food on the table, you can't shower at night, you can't put a roof over your head, I mean, you have no business being in business. Does that make sense, right? Now, having said that, if you get that, right, I have nothing against people that come from a very humble background, okay? I came from a very humble background, all right? So, the fact that this gentleman said that I have, again, maybe he just watched the video wrongly, I don't know what it was, but, he seemed to think that I had something against people that who come from poverty, right? I have absolutely no problems with people who come from poverty, because here's the truth, okay? Success has nothing to do with your background, all right? In fact, I know a lot of people in internet marketing who came from nothing, right? People who never finished school, people who, only finished primary 6, for example, grade 6, people who dropped out of school, people who were broke. I mean, you should hear the success stories that come from the internet marketing industry. It is just absolutely incredible, okay? Some people who were, who were on drugs full time, people who had no home, people living in a van, people who were evicted from their house. I mean, you get all sorts of people. My story really was, I came from a middle income family. Sorry, I've got some construction going on in the background. Sorry about that. We had a roof that, the side of our roof fell over, so we got a guy who's like banging away trying to fix it now. Sorry about that. But if you know my story, I come from a middle income family, right? And when I went to university, basically what happened was my dad lost his entire business. So there were multiple times where we couldn't pay the school fees, and being an international student, going overseas for university, we almost never finished, my sister, my brother, and I, right? And so we really struggled, okay? And that was a stage in my life. This was back in 2001, 2002, where there were multiple times where I didn't think I was going to finish university, and that was a big problem for me, okay? So, you know, I know what it's like to struggle a little bit, because I came from a background where I knew people that were pretty wealthy, to be honest, because I went to a pretty good school when I was in high school. But I was like their poor little, like I was like their poor little brother. Okay, I never had money to do anything. My friends always had to look out for me. They always had to give me extra money because I didn't have any, pocket money back then. I never had as much money as they did, okay? So I did struggle a little bit, I was, when mobile phones came out, I was the last person out of my entire group to have a mobile phone. I got my first mobile phone when I was 18 years old. And, back then, for me, I'm 36 now, right? So, back then, that was a big deal, getting a mobile phone at 18. And yet I was the last person in my group of friends to even have a mobile phone. For the most part, I used to keep lots of coins in my wallet, and I would have, a piece of paper with all my friends' numbers on it, and I would basically have to go to payphones to call them to meet me somewhere, because I was the only guy in the group that didn't have a mobile phone, right? So yes, I did have an okay, upbringing and stuff, but I was definitely not up there like some of my friends were, and always wanted to get there, okay, which is a lot of the reason why I work so hard, okay, and just coming back to the point of people not having money, making it in this industry. Your background has nothing to do with how much success you have now, okay? The truth is that most of the people that make it in this industry, in entrepreneurship, in online business, internet marketing, they're the underdogs, okay? So if you're an underdog, if you're someone who's broke, if you come from a broken family, if you were a druggie, if your parents were druggies, that kind of thing, that's actually, you're gonna be better set up to have success in this industry than some of the rich guys out there, okay? Because the rich guys out there, right, they've never suffered, okay? They've never been through struggle, all right? And if you've been through struggle, you know what it's like to struggle, okay? So to go backwards, I mean, you can't really have it any worse. If you got evicted from your house, if your parents are druggies, if you don't have any money, if you're broke, if you're on the dole, if you're having welfare, it can't get any worse for you, right? Think about that, okay? So the only way for you is upwards, and that's and I think, again, that's the reason why I've got such incredible work ethic and drive. It's because I never want to be there. I never want to be in a situation where I can't afford to put my family through good schools, or I can't afford to put food on the table for my family, or I can't afford to travel to nice places, because that's important to me. It might not be so important to you, right? But there are certain things that are important to me, which is why I work so damn hard to be able to give my family the things that I think that they deserve. Does that make sense? Okay? So understand that it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what kind of background that you come from, all right? If you're broke, if you're poor, if you think you're an underdog, if you don't understand technology and you don't know how to use a computer, all this stuff is learnable, okay? And so that's really the message that I wanted to bring to you in today's video, okay? Well, it's first of all that I actually think that people that are broke have a bigger chance of having success. But what I am saying is that if you're down to your last dollar, then, I mean, practically speaking, right? To be realistic about it, the chances that you'll be successful in business is very slim, because you do need resources, okay? So whatever that is, that's if that means coming up with creative ways to get extra money, okay? Or working 2 or 3 jobs, right? Or putting it on your credit card, or selling some stuff in your garage to get an investment pool of money so that you can put it in your business. Whatever it is, right? Just because you're broke doesn't mean that you can't make it, okay? I know a lot of broke people that are 6-figure earners right now, okay? You should see my old business partner. He's built a business that's making $20 million a year, okay? And this kid never even finished school. It's truly amazing, okay, what the human being can do when they're put in a corner, all right? So look, it's not about not having money, okay? It's about being smart, being practical about your situation, being aware and understanding that if you have no money, you know, probably the last thing that you want to do is build a business right now. But if you can be resourceful and you can figure that part out, then figure it out. You know, figure it out. I'm not saying that if you're broke that you can't do it at all. What I'm saying is that you just need to understand that you need a pool of cash in order to keep yourself going, right? No point starting now and then having to close your business down tomorrow. But also understand that, you know, people that are in these situations are actually set up the best to be able to springboard forward, because how much worse can it get, right? You're broke, you have no money, you're losing your house, your parents are druggies. How much worse can it get? All you can go is upwards, right? Rich people, if you're one of those rich people, then I mean you can do it too, right? But I think that the underdogs really have, you know, it's the perfect blend of, you know, a bad situation for you to be to create that motivation and drive that people need to really push forward and break through in this business, okay? And please understand that this business and being an entrepreneur, it requires no less than 110% of your full attention and effort, all right? And if you're not willing to do that, then maybe building a business is not right for you, all right? But if you are, then listen, don't worry about your background, don't worry about your circumstance, because it doesn't matter who you are. As long as you have the right drive and the right mentality, then you can definitely make something of yourself, especially in the world that we live in right now. I mean, we're living in a time where, you know, an 18-year-old kid can become a multi-millionaire just by uploading YouTube videos onto YouTube. How incredible is that, okay? Or you could be an 85-year-old person and make a shitload of money, excuse my French, a shitload of money just by, you know, the power of Instagram. I mean, it's nuts, right? It's crazy. We live in a time that's unprecedented, so don't waste it. But understand this, right? The kid that's 18 years old, or the guy or that girl that's 85 years old making huge amounts of money on Instagram or YouTube, that's not luck, guys. Okay? Don't fall for the illusion that just because they're making a lot of money means it's easy. It is not easy. Okay? You don't see the thousands of videos that kid made before he made it on YouTube, and you don't see the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pictures that 85-year-old man or girl or lady or whatever put up on Instagram before they finally were found, okay? And before they made it big, they put in the time, all right? It's just like that person that you see on the beach who's got a ripped body, and you're thinking, wow, that must have been, that guy's really lucky, he's got really good genetics. Dude, understand how few people have great genetics. That person who got ripped on the beach, right? They put in hours in the gym, okay? That's the stuff that you don't see, all right? So again, that's a little bit of the problem too, right? Is that things look so easy, and you know, everybody's making money, it seems, these days online, right? But what you don't see is you don't see the hard work and the sweat and the blood and the tears that they put in to get themselves to the level that they are at right now, okay? So again, this video, we've covered a few different points in this video today, but the main point that I wanted to sort of hit home with you is that don't worry so much about, he's really going at it, isn't he? Sorry about that. But the main point I wanted to drive home in today's video is, and I'll just wrap this up right after this, is that don't worry so much about your background, okay? Whether you come from a good or bad or broken background, it doesn't matter. You can figure it out, okay? And whether, again, your past has absolutely nothing to do with your future, but your attitude and your work ethic 100% does. I hope that makes sense, okay? So listen, let me know what you thought of this video in the comments below. Would really love to hear your thoughts. If you got some value from this video today, please give me a thumbs up. Would really appreciate that. If you're just finding my video for whatever reason and you want to get more of this stuff, you can always subscribe by clicking on the red button. And listen, if you want to work with me, if you want to take this whole internet thing further, you've got it. You know, you're watching my videos, you're inspired, you're motivated, you're like, Aaron, I get it, but what do I need to do to take the next step? How do I actually make this thing work? You know, obviously you've got a lot of questions. I had a lot of questions when I first started my business 9 years ago. In fact, I had no idea what I'm doing, okay? So if you want to take that next step, then all you have to do is click on the link right below this video. There's a little link right there. It's going to lead you to my 4-day training. It's absolutely free. Go ahead and check it out, and I'm pretty sure that it will take your business and life to the next level. My name's Aaron Chen. All the best. Speak to you soon.